Today is another unusual webinar in which I turn over the microphone and the floor to someone else. That's why I'm not with you on video. I'm just in the background. My name is Valentina Koskova. I'm the academic supervisor of the Master of Data and Network Analytics online program on the Coursera platform. And I'm delighted to welcome you all to a webinar in which someone other than myself will be sharing their stories about their experience with our program. Now, this webinar was organized by Miss Elena Beylina, who is now a PhD student at HEC University. She is the graduate of our first program's cohort. She's currently an analyst with our research laboratory and an instructor in our program. So as an alumni herself, she has put together quite an impressive list of other graduates who will talk about their experience and tell you how the program has helped them build their careers. What I find amazing is that all of them come from very different backgrounds and have very different stories to share. So without any further ado, I am turning the microphone over to Ms. Beylina, and she will take it over from here. I will remain in the background and will answer any questions you may have about the program or our panelists. So feel free to ask questions and I will voice them over when the time comes. So have a wonderful time, everyone, and let's go ahead and start. Elena, the floor is yours.
Hi, everyone. I'm really very excited to see all of you today here. And first of all, I think I will share a small presentation for you. I promise that it won't take too much time because the idea today is just to talk, to share real life stories without any additional videos, so just enjoy. So today's topic is best markers of a program success, the alumni. And actually, despite the fact that our online program is rather new one, it already has rather huge history and a huge cohort of different graduates. That's why we are talking today about their success. And first of all, I want just briefly introduce you our program and our laboratory in order to get an overview of who we are, what we are doing, and why it's really important and good education which we offer to you. So first, and the crucial idea here is that we want to make modern data analysis and specifically network analytics available to everyone, meaning despite the different backgrounds, it is possible to learn to do data analysis to bring value in business or in academia. And I will also tell you my story because first education which I received was in sociology, and then I moved towards statistics and mathematics more. So the agenda for today is the following. First, I will briefly introduce you the laboratory, then our programs, and of course, our success stories of the graduates. Today, we have 5 people who will share their view, their stories, their way, starting from the first education, then master education on our program, and later on their career tracks. So few words about International Laboratory for Applied Network Research. The unique feature here is that it combines different spheres and areas, starting from the research and ending up with different consulting projects. And of course, 2 educational programs about which we are talking right now and the graduates from which we'll speak today also. So the idea of the research track here is to develop the School of Applied Network Analytics on one side, also to create a community who are eager to learn more about data analysis, about network analysis. And because education can't go without practice, then there were developed several groups, consulting projects with different clients on one side, and another project, analytical workshop for those who are in our chat for applicants, there was a link just recently, I think yesterday or a few days ago, for an analytical workshop with different interesting projects in data science and in network analytics. In addition to that, as I previously told, 2 master programs. So let's briefly introduce 2 of them. So first of all, we are talking about Master of Applied Statistics with Network Analysis. It's an offline program which already has history, and the guys who will speak today, they were graduates of this program. And the new one, which is based online on Coursera platform, Master of Data Network Analytics, is actually an online mirror of this one. That's why we are talking today, both based on these programs. Briefly introducing you the core concepts of the education. So first, we start combining applied data on one side and network data in analytic concepts. It is important here to mention that despite your background, non-mathematical one, probably biological or linguistic one, we have different examples today who are succeeded in their data analytics career. It's important to know the way how to work with the data and later on how to analyze it and really to make data-driven decisions in your business career. So we teach analytics to everyone, and I think that's the crucial point here, and the success stories are definitely about that. So despite the fact that probably you don't have specific education and right now you're working and already finished your high school, university a lot of years ago, it doesn't matter. Because education can bring you new ways, new paths for your career tracks. And of course, if you understand that you need a more deep dive into the data for your career, for your strategy, for your analytics and business, it's again the way why you want to choose this program. So right now we observe a lot of new trends and paradigms and in data analytics, in education, in business, in consulting. And the key concepts here is that now there are available much more analytic tools. That's why we bring you a lot of different tools and instruments in order just to try them and to understand how huge is the analytic environment overall. And of course, they bring us new analytic capabilities and different network data availabilities. So that's why we have a lot of different applied projects in our education, which can later on help you in building your portfolio for your future career. Few words about the subjects here, you can just observe them, because probably some of our graduates will talk specifically about several of them, how useful they were for their career and why they wanted actually to learn them and to use some concepts and apply them into their spheres. Here are just few examples how we particularly respond to different market signals. And that's why we use different packages for the analysis. That's why we learn different programming languages. And actually, I suppose that all of us, all the graduates use them differently in their career. For instance, in my current job right now, I need more SQL stuff, and previously I used more R, for instance, for analysis. That's why we bring together a lot of different opportunities in terms of hard skills, such as different programming languages or packages, and of course, different soft skills. So here we are. Just a few reasons why should you study with us, but I think the graduates will talk about that in much more detail. However, the most important and the most interesting one for you could be is that we have and we provide courses on different levels, basic and advanced. That's why if you do not have prior experience in analytics, in programming, you still can learn from scratch. And that's why you can observe a variety of course menu, and all of us focused on different subjects. Some of us focused on network analytics and developed their career in this field. Probably for some, the subjects in Bayesian statistics or in non-parametrics were more interested in So you can combine these subjects and work and study with the students, with the guys who are really interested in this field, and later on develop the community of experts and enthusiasts in specific analytic tools or overall analysis. So how we go through this path? Actually, it's not so easy one. However, we definitely start with the theory. The most important thing here is that we go through the problem solving. So we do not start just from math. We start from the problem which we want to solve, and then we learn specific methods, specific techniques, models with which you can solve any problem, any analytical task. So I think that's all for about the study tracks. Here are just a brief reminder for you which tracks we provide, and actually all of our courses are split into several waves here. One is more focused on business analytics, another one for computational social sciences, and the last one which focus on network analysis, which is really a unique feature of our program, which is not available on other programs. Of course, success stories. I think you're already waiting for that. And I spoke like for 10 minutes about our program, and I want really to introduce you several, I would say, characteristics of success, which we already received. And of course, we'll give the microphone to our graduates to speak about their stories. So amazing career tracks. Why we say that? Just because all of our graduates are working in international companies and Russian companies and universities. Some continue their education in academia. So that's why we can say for 100% that all of our graduates are either data analysts, different product business analysts, or some consultants or researchers. And based on that, so they work in a big variety of companies. So here are just few examples, and I suppose that we can continue because there are a lot of people who are working in PR, in medicine, in biology, in finance, in specific FMCG companies, and so on and so forth. I think we have covered almost all of the spheres in the world, I mean, job spheres, which are possible. And here are just a few examples. I highly recommend you then to go on this link with different videos. I think some of our colleagues will share it in a chat where you can observe, I think, around like 10 or 12 recorded videos. So the important thing here is that all of our graduates value the possibility and the knowledge of working with a different data. It's really important because when you come to the company, you do not understand how it works, from where to take the data, how to work, how to organize them, and of course, how to build the model later on. So it's important to know this way. And because all of our courses based on different kind of data, you really have the skill of working with that. And of course, then practice that specifically in the projects. Today, we do not have any of our graduates who entered top programs, I mean, PhD programs in Europe. So just few examples in the United Kingdom, in Austria, in the Netherlands, in New Zealand. So a huge geography where our graduates are currently studying right now. And of course, a huge cohort of students are continuing to study in HSC University on different programs in economics and management, in social sciences, in computational social sciences. So the big variety of ways where to go. And here are just a few examples, so you can read several just companies or universities where our graduates work. So today you will have a chance, so right now I'm talking here, and of course you will have a chance to talk with Dina. She's working as senior content analyst in Thomson Reuters. In addition to that, today we have with us Andrei Hituri, who is working as a senior biostatistician, or probably he will correct me later on and say that he already has a bit different path in the analytics. Also, we have with us Kirill Ivanov. You have already seen him. He's a research intelligence customer consultant in Elsevier. And right now you can also see here Anastasia Markova, who is working as machine learning analyst in BBC Banking Technologies. So I think that probably even if she is right now here, she can start because I can tell you my story a bit later on. So I will just stop sharing you my screen. I want you to see our faces. So imagine that we have real life conversation here. And I will just give the microphone to her. So later on, we can ask her several questions. And if what in which you are could be interested. So the floor is yours, and welcome here. Probably you will correct me, I mean, in introducing yourself, your current career track, and so on and so forth.
Yeah, thank you, Elena. Good evening, everyone. I hope you hear me well. So actually, starting about me, I graduated from this program about 2 months ago. And on the one hand, I was really happy because it was a great challenge for me. On the other hand, I was extremely sad because it was like completely new, interesting stuff. I met lots of different interesting people and made lots of connections, and I was really sad to finish like some studies, and even I hope that that's why I'm happy that I'm here with you today. So now I'm working as a ML analyst, machine learning analyst in BBC Banking Technologies. I'm working with anti-fraud, so I try to prevent fraudulent transactions of like electronic payments using machine learning models. And it's very funny because my bachelor was actually Japanese studies, you know. So when I went to this program, I knew Japanese language, I knew some economy, history, and I didn't know math, statistics, and I didn't know how to deal with all this stuff. That's why I was really attracted by this program because, you know, when I came here, Valentina Viktorovna said, you know, even if you are a social scientist or humanitarian and you don't know math, you can handle it and we will help you and support you. So this is what happened. Of course, there were some difficulties because I needed to work more and to pay more efforts in order to achieve some goals. But, you know, after the first year, I've already started working in data science. So it was June when I got and completely changed my job track. And after half a year, I went to the new company that is international. Before that, I worked in a small company. And now I'm working actually in BBC. And the interesting thing is that I got this job after the consulting class in this master program. So actually, I really, everything that is now in my life, my job is from master program. So there are actually several courses that help me a lot. First of all, of course, statistics. Secondly, we really dig into lots of contemporary data analysis stuff, like time series analysis. And that's why I started to work on financial analytics. And it helped me in the interviews and tasks a lot. After that, we also took cool classes of NLP, and it improved my Python, which also helps me now in my work. So, but it's not the whole list of what I gained from this master program. It was also a great opportunity to build a cool network system. And because now I always have some contacts with people who can help me or who can provide me some consultations. And we also meet regularly with each other, and it was really fun. Before the coronavirus stuff, we had also meetings in foreign, which is a completely different story, but it was also a great opportunity for me. Yeah, I didn't know math. I didn't know statistical theory. As some classes that were not for the, I don't know, intermediate level or a higher level of knowledge, but I took during the second year, I could already take some more advanced classes. So, and finally, maybe I can tell you that this program also made me brave to try to change my career path. So during these consulting classes and presentations, I learned how to present myself and to tell not about my disadvantages, such as lack of background, but also tell about my advantages, what I know, what I can do, and how I wish to develop. And finally, during the first year, actually, I took about 10 interviews in different companies. And sometimes they were successful, sometimes they were harsh. And, you know, it might be the only tip from my side that, of course, it's obvious, but please try and go to all interviews you can, which are in the sphere you're interested in, even if you don't know, if you're not sure that you are okay with that, even if you don't have background or skills, because everything you can learn actually after some basis. For example, from this master program, you can learn by yourself during your work. And there are lots of knowledge you get here, even if you don't understand it right now or during your studies. After some time, you really get how much you got from the program. Yes, and yeah, be brave and try to change your career path if you wish.
Thank you so much. It's really a great story. I mean, guys, just amazing that you start learning actually Japanese language, later on moved on towards analytics, and now machine learning analyst. Really amazing. So I want just to ask probably a few questions about the job. I mean, how did you find it? Was it difficult, for instance, to do some test assignments for you? So were enough, I mean, the data knowledge and understanding, I mean, your prior experience, was it enough for you to pass it?
Yes, actually, there were 3 jobs that I succeeded, not 4. I was invited to after I gained some skills and because of my master program. Firstly, after half a year studying here, I took the interview to the AB analyst position, and I was asked some questions about t-tests and something like that, and it was completely okay to become a junior even after half a year. After a year, when I took this time series course, it was pretty enough to become a junior data scientist in financial sphere. I worked in a company that built some models for Sberbank. And actually, after a year, I also was ready. I improved my Python skills. And during these consulting classes, we presented our work to the company that came to the course. And they decided that my skills are okay for them. So I think a year and you can try to find something really cool.
Yeah, that's really great. Thank you so much. I'm asking you guys who are listening to us probably several questions in a chat. There is the question, would the time series course be offered on Coursera? I think probably our academic supervisor can answer this question and share a few ideas about this course.
Of course, time series course is one of the most important courses in our program. In fact, we teach it now in 2 different sections. The first section is covering the essence of time series. What is time measured data? And how do we address issues that happen to processes over time? It covers basic things, basic models, basic effects of times, trends, a little bit of filtering, and some of the basic models that can be covered with simple regression approach. and all the way to ARIMA, autoregressive integrated moving average models. So that's the first course. The second course starts with vector autoregression, when you have more than one dependent variable, because of course the world cannot be reduced to one dependent variable. And because over time, with time series data, you can establish causality, which variable causes the other. And then that course is very advanced. We cover a variety of courses, including error correction and state space. So it gets into some advanced stuff. We also have time series courses on networks, and we do some time series approach to categorical data analysis and some other courses. So yes, it will be covered, but I don't want to take much time away from our graduates. We can talk about the courses and everything else in some other webinar, plus you can look on our website and see which courses are offered. But thank you for your question, and I will turn the floor back to Elena and our graduates that I'm very happy to see here. We've missed you guys quite a bit during COVID times.
Yeah, unfortunately, with this COVID times here, our ways of studying are different. However, right now we at least a little bit can make this conversation online and see each other. So thank you so much, Mr. T, for joining us today. And if there will be some more questions in the chat, we will just address you and again ask you something. And for right now, I want to introduce Dina Yakuleva, who is a senior content analyst in Thomson Reuters, one of its departments. Dina, are you with us right now?
Hi, Elena. Hi, everyone. I'm not smart enough to switch on the camera.
Yeah, I think probably it doesn't work for you, probably. So you will speak just without video, or yeah.
Okay, sorry, I just suit up.
Yeah,
finally.
don't worry.
Hi, guys. I'm Dina. I'm kind of adult presenter of first generation of MASNA program, because I graduated in 2019. It's already, oh my God, 2-3 years, yeah. And what I would like to say, I think Anastasia pretty covered all of the main advantages that I was going to mention for the program. However, I would say a little bit about myself. I joined MASNA actually after the bachelor, not right after the bachelor. There was a 5 years break between my bachelor degree and the master degree, and it was a pretty high challenge because I already was out of this students environment and how to learn quickly at one time, and my bachelor degree was in management, so I also was far away from statistics and maths, at least at the degree that was held in our program. What I would say that firstly, you will gain a good skill on how to cover a lot of information and software as well in a really short time. And this skill really helped me out when I was not really pushed by it. I convinced myself that I need to insert Python into my daily life. That's why I started to learn Python, and surprisingly, I learned really quickly, because during the first year in MASNA, you are learning, I mean, I don't know, 5 to 7 software, probably even more. That's why it was not really an issue to add some more program to my learning experience. Secondly, recently, I realized that we were taught in a really sophisticated way of preparing our work, because I worked with a lot of colleagues who also claim themselves to be statisticians. However, their work that I can see, the final projects that they deliver to customer, to client, are not really at this way that we are used to do our homework, really. When you're processing the project, you're just putting the whole range of tests that are required for the models. You are putting the good explanation with the following statistical analysis. And some of my colleagues, they are not really even aware of this way of working. That's why they call my projects at a high sophisticated level. And it was really funny for me because I really get used to do my homework in this way at MASNA program. And the third point that Anastasia also mentioned, that this is a scientific community that you gain access to right after you're graduated or even while you're studying. And right now I'm part of our laboratory. I'm trying to enhance my experience in variety of analysis that I'm not really doing at my workplace, because my workplace requires more time series analysis. And for example, currently I'm dealing with text analysis, by the way, in Japanese language. And this is really another part of challenge, but this is the way you can expand your knowledge and apply your skills that you gained at the program. And last thing I wanted to mention, recently I was trying to get myself a new job. By the way, I'm working in the oil gas sphere, and it's kind of funny because in this sphere, it's difficult to find a person who's got the statistician background and the experience in the field. That's why you can be more or less unique person in your company, and you have a good benefit for being a good employee and hiring. Yeah. And while I was interviewing, my future manager asked me a question like, "Why do you think we should hire you?" And I said that, "Oh my God, I can calculate numbers. Moreover, I can prove this calculation, and I'm licensed statistician, by the way." He was really amazed by my reply, because I was so convinced that I'm a person with a diploma from statistical background.
Yeah, that's so true. I mean, we should be confident that we have finished this program, that we have struggled with so many courses, more than 20 courses during these years, actually. And yeah, we have a broad view for data, for analytics, for software. That's really great. Yeah.
Exactly. And one funny example, my colleague, he was trying to put insert some data while he was searching the analysis. He found out that there are some there are some gaps in the data, and he said, "Oh, probably I need to put an average or something like that." And I said, "Man, this is missing data, and there are at least 5 ways of how to deal with it, not only average."
Perfect answer. I mean, sometimes I think that we can learn our colleagues also. Actually, when I was on interview recently, job interview, I told that I can bring complex things. I can teach complex things in simple way to all of the people. Luckily, you're with me in your company. I will switch off the screen so everyone can see you. And the thing is that I told that, okay, first of all, I can teach, and later on, all of the people inside the company will really love the numbers. And it's important for people right now to love the numbers and to know how to look at them, how to deal with them. So just not to be afraid. And I think sometimes our confidence also is really important. And probably just one small question for you. So how difficult was it, or probably not difficult at all, to combine studying and working? Because as I remember that you worked together, probably it was a tough way, but I think it's really could be interesting for our future students, because a lot of them want to work, and in addition to that, study, of course.
Thanks for your question, Elena. That was that was highly intensive. That was amazing challenge. And even by the first examination period, I was thinking that I need to quit the program. Probably, I suppose I approached Valentina with this email that I'm ready to quit. I'm ready to quit because I'm not able to handle all of this working and studying at the same time. And when I was graduating with the honor, by the way, I thought that impossible is nothing, really. And that was the main output for the program, that if you really want something, if you're really into, you can do. Even I didn't have that much statistical background and math background. And that was more or less key to success that I was taught at the beginning. No, it's not the key to success. The key is your ability and your wish to finish up to it. And it's really interesting. I mean, believe me, from up to down, you will learn a lot, you will gain a lot. And if you are afraid of not being able to deliver both working and studying, it's up to you, really.
Yeah, really good advice, I suppose. And actually, for those who want to apply your knowledge, I think it's really important to combine studying and working, despite the fact that sometimes it's really too much complicated and you don't have time to sleep, but it's worth it. We are, I think, rather happy people right now with cool jobs in different companies in analytics, and that's really great. So thank you so much. If no questions for you in a chat, or probably later on there will be, you can contact and we will address to our graduates and of course bring the answers to you. And I think that right now I want to introduce two more people here, Kirill and Andrei are with us. So probably you could start both actually to talk about education stuff first and then some career stuff. You have quite different stories, by the way. I mean, your career stories and educational stories. So probably, Kirill, you could start first and we will make a short, brief conversation right now.
Yeah, well, thank you, Elena, so much for your kind introduction. I'll try to keep my story as short as possible. Yeah,
we have still a lot of time, so you shouldn't be sure to talk.
First of all, funnily enough, I am the first person here with Japanese background. Well, because my first degree is in humanities and language and technical and military translation, and I tried to pick Japanese as my third language. I spent 2 years attending regular courses, and it turned out that it's way more difficult than, I don't know, obtaining another degree maybe. And to me personally, it appeared more difficult than mastering statistics and data analysis. So now I'm, as you said, I'm a research intelligence customer consultant with Elsevier. Elsevier, as I think, well, some of you know, is a data solutions company running the largest database of peer-reviewed academic data sources, Scopus, and then SciVal, and then many other products which help universities and academic institutions and research companies to do research and manage it. So my job basically is to help universities answer such questions as we don't know how to, we have a good research strategy, but we don't know how to implement it, or what are our strong points, or whom do we have to collaborate with to produce impactful research. So basically I come to people as a consultant and talk about their things, and then I help them to translate those things into right questions. And I think that's one of the things that this master's program actually taught me, to ask right questions and then to translate them into data language. And then I use technical skills. Well, speaking of technology, well, I am an R adept, and most of the analytics I do with R. And then I translate those questions into data, and I help my clients or pick myself the right data to tackle their questions. And then I come back to them with a intelligible answers, visualizations, and insights, which either spur the next round of discussion or help people make meaningful decisions, whether they are strategic ones, such as picking another major frontier for a university's research strategy, or a more local one, for instance, picking the right collaboration or laboratory, or even a single researcher to make a research project go further. So, and maybe a few words of this entire trip. Back in 2018, when I just joined the program, I had no idea I would end up here where I am now, as I'm a purely humanitarian guy. My first degree, as I said, is linguistics and translation, and the second one is international law. And before starting to take an interest in analytics, I was doing, well, international relations jobs, and then running translation projects and working myself as a translator and interpreter. So things changed that when I joined a company focused on academic rankings and delivering consulting services to academic institutions. I joined them initially as a, foreign languages guy who can communicate what analysts have done. But then I turned out that it's quite impossible to do the right job without knowing what's under the hood of this analytical car. So I started to learn statistics myself. Well, thanks to the 21st century, there are multiple opportunities to do self-study. But you can educate yourself only to some point. Well, after mastering the basics, there appear such questions as, what do I do next? Should I pursue a data analyst's path, or data scientist's path, or data engineer, and what's actually the difference between those three, and which technology to pick up, and what is frequentist statistics, and why is it called worse than Bayesian statistics or not, because, well, that depends on who you're talking to. So those questions, it's impossible to answer them on your own, and that's how I ended up in the data analytics community and attending summer camps where I met Valentina Koskova, and it was a game changer, and I understood that this program is the right place to figure things out. First of all, to decide myself on my further career track. I would say that when I joined the program, just as Dina said, it was a challenge to combine a full-time job with everyday studying and then doing huge, takeaway projects. But at the same time, it started soon to pay off. While being involved in data work myself as a layman data analyst, I figured out that, well, after 2 or 3 months of data analysis studies, I was able to do the job which took me, let's say, a week in Excel, just in a couple of hours with R. So and it was motivating to go on, even in the times when, for instance, because of the full-time job, I had to skip the entire course, which would have never been repeated again. But, well, again, life is life. In the end, it all paid off.
Yeah, thank you so much
for
such a cool story here. I will just summarize a few important things from your speech. So first of all, I really loved, brilliant words which you said, that the translation from the mathematical language to the business one, for instance, is the crucial point. And here, that's why we propose the education when we start from the problem solving, because it's important first to understand business need, and later on to know how to translate this business need into maths, and then again, how to translate the maths with the results to the data-driven decision. And that's actually, I think, the most important thing of, in the data analysis, in the analysis overall process at all. Also, the second idea from which speech that you said that, okay, you are addicted, and that's again great, that we have a choice of different softwares, so you can learn all of them and then go into deep in some of them and use them for your job. For instance, previously I used Power BI for my analytics. Right now I will go a bit more into Python. So we can change that because we understand this world of different techniques. So thank you so much. I just have one brief question for you. Probably few tips from you for our future graduates, which you learned from your studies, from your business career. So how to translate these languages, how to learn and how to know this feeling. I mean, to understand which math, which model works better for this particular problem. So how to develop this skill.
Yeah, I would say the number one principle that I follow not only in my data analysis projects but also in life would be keep it simple. So if you can do the same, if you can justify, for instance, your finding with a simpler explanation or a simpler model, pick that instead of boasting of all the complicated toolkits that you mastered before. Well, no, well, time will come for that, or probably won't. But if we speak well, goal-oriented approach, it's really crucial to keep things simple. Also, unlike learning projects in real life, most of the times a lot of people need to be involved in data analysis project, and most of those people would be either data illiterate, or they won't have all the necessary skills to understand everything that lies behind your inference, your conclusion. And second, it's also time matters. Well, there are only as few working hours in a day in which, well, either one project can be completed or 8, depending on which toolkit you pick. So yeah, point number 1 would be keeping it simple, and second would be understanding what you're doing, and that breaks down into 2 statements. Would be first understanding the methods that you use. Well, that's we spoke already. So if you don't really understand what you're doing, then pick a simpler model. And second, knowing your data. So if you're using a metric, and I myself, for instance, am using a lot of science metrics such as normalized citation, field-weighted citation, and different impact factors and other journal metrics, they are all themselves very complicated. So if I myself have not internalized what it actually means, just when I close my eyes, I can understand how this particular number was calculated out of all the 60 million data entries in the Scopus database. If I don't, then how can I make this next step and build a model? So if before building a model, make sure that you know what your data stand for, how they were collected, what are the factors that influenced it, are there any caveats or anything that might influence the terminal result of your study.
Thank you so much. I think that we will follow these rules. Actually, I totally agree with them. Thank you so much once again. And I think that now finally, Andrei, the floor is yours. Probably you will introduce again yourself on your own, just to remind about your huge analytical and data science experience and your educational one. So please, welcome.
Well, can you hear me first?
Yeah.
Oh, it's fine, because I was kind of struggling with the Zoom, the whole meeting, because we have Microsoft Teams and it looks a little bit different. Well, first of all, I'm 40 years old. And when I entered MASNA, I was 36, and I thought my career is over, because I had a medical degree and I was a head of biostatistics in the local CRO. So the scale could change, but the scope, no. I was like a director of biostatistics. I just made some decisions that fully implemented to the clinical trial. I'll explain something. When you invent new drug, you should test it. And when you test it, you can't use some fancy models. You can't use data science or neural networks. It all goes to the solid math, to something that our regulatory agency can understand. So what is needed is a controlled experiment. You should perform a clinical trial which compares this drug to something what was already established, what was already proved its efficacy. So it can be some fancy method. It's solid math that should be used, and I was in lack of, and it was I was trying to find here in this MASNA program, and I'd say it was fully my goal was fully achieved, and I say the sequence of courses that MASNA offered me, it allowed me to get a new level of understanding. I changed my working place after that. I get a new job, and here I compete with guys who was how to say it. Sorry, I'm missing a word here. Graduates from Moscow State University from mathematical faculty, and I'm on par with them. And in nearest future, I will make a presentation and trying to tell them something new. And again, there's something new about mixed models, linear mixed models that were here. Lina, do you remember the lecturer who taught us all of this? Friedl, yes?
Yeah, okay, exactly.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. And when we discussed the complex things about the model criticism, it was exactly the same things that were taught and hammered into us by the Friedl. And not a lot of biostatisticians know it. So I'd say if you're looking for a fancy method and the new legalities of the data science, you can find it. But if you are looking for a solid ground, it also can be provided by the MASNA. I'll summarize it in this way.
Yeah, thank you so much. So I just wanted again to say a few words about the courses and about the program. So about what actually Andrei just told. So we propose a big variety of different courses of different methods. And when you understand how huge is the world, how big actually is the amount of different models, you understand the world better. And after that, you can choose and pick up the best model you can to solve particular task. And if you're interested, for instance, in some kind of mixed models, linear models, Bayesian models, whatever, you understand which tasks can be solved via these particular specific techniques or methods, and then you can develop it for your future career. And I think that's really great choice. And just one question, I mean, more for interest. So wasn't it, I don't know, scary probably for you to start education, I mean, at this age, because you have already previous actual career path. So you worked for a lot of years. So there was a break between your educational points. So how did you feel about that? So what do you think actually about the education? I mean, when you just do not continue your master right after bachelor, but you have some years of the gap here, actually.
I'd say it's even better if you have something like Wanderjahr, because you have a kind of perspective, you have a kind of different vantage point. You know what do you really need to extract from all this education. Because when I was young, we were taught by you have this disease, you have this disease, you have that disease. I'm an MD, as I have already taught, and it was like very, very vague. But a little bit later, it just collects as a puzzle. The same for the mathematical methods. You have this, and you have that, and you can implement this one, and you can use this one program. But with some age and some experience, you just know exactly what you will take away with you. Maybe not a lot of fancy methods and a lot of languages. I still trying to learn Python. Nevertheless, you need a solid ground, and it will help you in the whole future career.
Okay, thank you so much. Probably some questions from you guys in the chat, or any comments, something from you. So we have still a few minutes to answer the questions. Almost all of the graduates are here. Probably you're interested in some of their advice, experience, whatever. Or if not, we can just share a few links with you of our websites, I suppose that other stories of our graduates are already shared here. Yes, I see this in the chat, so you can learn more about different stories and learn more about the alumni. Okay, I will wait just a few seconds and probably then we will finish our webinar for today. Okay, if no question, I just want again to say a huge thank you to all of our graduates. And actually, I finally have seen the guys with whom I studied few years ago. In these times, it's really rare when we gather all together because we are rather busy right now. Oh, I'm so happy to see you guys here. Probably we can just wish some great success and great stories for you guys who have listened right now to us. And we strongly believe that you can make your own choice and find the best program you can in data analytics and in statistics and develop your perfect future careers, wherever you want. So thank you so much once again.
Thank you, Elena, and thank you everyone who came here. It was delightful to see you guys again, and I miss seeing you. I am very happy to hear your stories. I am just like any proud academic mother would. I'm delighted to see how far you've gone and how much you've achieved and some of the hurdles you've overcome. Thank you for honestly sharing that this program will be hard. Because I say this to everyone, you will have to study. This is not a program in which you will just get a diploma by doing nothing. So, but hard work pays off, and each one of you with such different backgrounds, even though for some reason, people with Japanese background love this program, such different backgrounds, and you have come so far. You've actually achieved much more than I have. So as good academic children, you went further and deeper than I ever could. So I'm very proud of you, and I'm looking forward to hearing more of your successes and then maybe getting more successful academic brothers and sisters for you in the future iteration of the program. So we hope to welcome our next cohort very soon. And thank you all again. And it's wonderful really to hear your stories and to be a small part of your huge success. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much once again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.